You're not going in that. Come on, Katsuki, let your brother live a little. Shut it, old hag. Watch your tone with me, you little brat. No, you watch your tone with me. Why, you little, come here. You watched your father bounce around, trying to stop his eldest son and wife from killing each other. You, always the bystander in these situations, opened the front door and walked toward your car. Go change. What's wrong with what I'm wearing now? Katsuki looked you up and down and just shook his head. Forget it. Katsuki, you grabbed him by the shoulders and shook him. What's wrong? Let me go, you damn kid. Fine. You sigh, sitting back in your seat, your seatbelt fitting around your body once again. But seriously, I'm not dressed that horribly, am I? You look down at yourself. You were wearing a simple gray long-sleeve shirt and gray jeans to match, and wore your everyday gray and white high-top Converse. Don't talk to anyone from my class, especially that damn Deku. You shook your head, your face resting in your palm as you watched the trees pass you by. The cherry blossoms were in full bloom now. You smiled at their exquisite beauty, then pulled out your phone to capture the moment on your phone. You unlocked your phone and realized that Hikari and Aoi had messaged you. You opened Hikari's first. Almost there, rinse with me. You replied, sounds good. You opened Aoi's message. Next. Sorry, I can't make it today. Have fun though. That sucks, we'll miss you. You wondered about what had come up so abruptly. It was unlike Aoi to skip out on group hangouts. What had divided his attention so? You told yourself you would ask him tomorrow, and made another mental note. Come on, we're here. Coming. You followed your family out of the car, shoving your phone in the back of your pocket, wanting to live in this moment rather than the future. You spotted Hikari right away. Behind him you saw Rin, who was cowering. Katsuki approached them, and Rin shrunk back even farther. Sweat dripped down your forehead, and watching him interact with your friends made you wonder what your brother was like during school hours. Did he have friends? If so, how many? And Deku didn't count. He was more like a punching bag, that poor boy. If he did not, you hoped he wasn't lonely. You frowned, watching him lecture your friends on how not to embarrass him, your mother at his side, yelling just as loud for him to leave them alone. Your father was, again, trying to separate the two threats to society. Oh, hey, Kachan. You hadn't heard that name in a while. You stopped watching your family and friends, turning to meet the broccoli sweetheart. Deku, you mumbled, tilting your head. What do you want, you damn nerd? Oh, just to say hi is all. He waved his hands in what you assumed he thought was a reassuring gesture, but knowing your brother as you do, it was more like waving a red flag in front of a bull's face. Taunting it. Your frown deepened when you thought about all the time they spent together, not just in class, but with other things like the sports festival. You might have not known exactly how Katsuki felt, but you knew a great portion, more than what you would ever let on. Deku might not realize it either. Hell, Katsuki himself might not even know why he gets so riled up whenever Deku is around, but the answer is so clear it would take effort to miss. Maybe, you thought, that's what he does when he feels threatened. It was a logical explanation for every emotion he's ever shown the boy up until now. Does he think Deku is better than him? It was a serious question to consider, but somehow the words could not fully form in your head. Bakugo Katsuki, feeling inferior? That was just something that just couldn't be possible. It was unimaginable to everyone except you. Deku was with his mother. She waved at your mom, who walked up to the other woman and began a conversation, which clearly pissed off your brother a whole lot more. He looked like he was going to explode like one of his bombs. Let's go find our seats. you said as you passed Hikari. He nodded and followed you into the large stadium, Rin not too far behind. Hey, so was that really Deku? Hikari asked, catching up to you. You turned and faced both Rin and Hikari with a serious expression. No. Hikari cracked a smile. Seriously, though? You grinned back. Yeah, that was him. Haven't seen him in forever. I was just shocked by how strong he'd gotten. Even under the uniform he was wearing, you could see how muscular he'd gotten. It reminded you of that boy, Todoroki. Katsuki wore tank tops around the house all the time, but he was your brother, and therefore you noticed absolutely no change in his form. It'd always been normal. You couldn't even remember a time when he was a noodle-armed weakling. It sent a pain toward your heart. He was growing up, and they both were. They felt so far away. It was mentally draining you, and you needed to grab something to drink. You just found your seats, but still, you said, I'm gonna go find a vending machine. I'll be right back. Let my mom and dad know when they get here. Sure, but don't be too long. The sports festival starts at 10. You nodded. It was roughly 9:45. You had a few minutes to spare. Not that long, but not too small a gap either. You walked around a bit until you found the bathroom, and logically speaking, the vending machines should be around here somewhere. At least you hoped so. You'd already spent 5 minutes looking for it, meaning it would take you at least 3 to get back to your seat, and add that with the number of people you'll have to pass in the hallway, as well as to get back to your seat. That added those lost 2 minutes back. Oh! You shot up, excited you finally found the vending machines. There were a few for snacks. One held bottled drinks, and another held ramen and soba, which you wondered why, or even how, anyone could eat it without a microwave or some type of heating source. You walked up to the vending machine that held beverages. Looking up and down at the choices, you chose to grab a bottle of water. You slid in your money and tapped your foot slightly on the pavement, checking your watch every few seconds to make sure you didn't miss the start of the festival. Katsuki would definitely kill you if he found out you missed the beginning of the festival when you were the one insistent on coming to watch him. Your water bottle fell, and as soon as it did, you heard the clicking of the vending machine next to you start up as someone inserted $1. You turned your head, and as if he was waiting for you to notice his presence, Todoroki slid his eyes onto yours. It all happened in slow motion, like a scene from a K-drama when the two main lovers finally come face to face. You yelled at yourself internally. Of course it wasn't like that. Why would you even compare what had happened between you and Todoroki to a scene so romantic? It's not like he was gay or even bi. No way. You needed to stop doing this to yourself. But then again, you said you would talk to him at the sports festival, and here he was. However, now that you were actually face to face with the boy, you couldn't seem to get a grasp on the words you wanted to say. You were shocked into place, staring at Todoroki like an idiot for sure. Oh, you would never live down the embarrassment. How could you? It was click. And then he was opening the soba pack he had bought and eating it raw. Here was another thing you were going to lose your mind for. Who in the hell eats cold soba? Todoroki? You point at the bowl in his hands. He slurps. Bakugo's brother. And slurps again. Well then, you think, scoffing internally, all your earlier nervousness gone. I wanted to say thank you. You bow, for giving my brother his lunch. You're welcome. He says, no smile, no grin or smirk, like Katsuki would have given you. No anything. The guy was completely dead, inside and out. You laughed nervously, his stoic expression bringing back all the awkwardness from before. Well, if there's anything I can do, please tell me. You try your best at a smile, but the look he gives you makes you forfeit. See you around then? He watches you with those calm eyes of his, not letting any expression escape. You nod and begin to walk away. You turn your back and take a few steps before Todoroki calls back at you. Bakugo? You stop and turn around, a full 4-step combo, to listen to what he has to say. His face is still painfully expressionless, but his words make something in your chest beat with another drum. After the sports festival, I'll find you. There's something I do want, so don't leave right after. Sure, of course. You bow again, this time gripping the bottle of water in your hand. You felt how sweaty it was. While walking back to your seat, you wiped your hand clean on your shirt. You thought over what Todoroki had said, unable to keep from turning red while rethinking his words. You made sure to pour some water down your face before you met up with your friends and parents. By now, you were sure Katsuki had already left and was on his way out to the field. You thought back to Deku and felt guilty for leaving him so abruptly. You didn't even wave hi. You ignored him completely. The thing was, though, you didn't know how to interact with him. After all these years, how hard would it be to be able to speak to him like a normal human being? There was a question nagging at you in the back of your thoughts. You remember Izuku as the small little puppy that followed around your big brother. That puppy, though, out of 1 in a million, was not special. In other words, he was quirkless. If that was the same little boy, then how did Izuku get accepted into the hero course? How in the hell would he survive against a bunch of kids that did have quirks? Katsuki mumbles to himself from time to time about it, but he never shares anything aloud. You wondered if it was bothering your brother as well. He'd known Deku since they were practically 4, so what in the hell was going through his head? You found your seat again. Thank God this festival hadn't started yet. Your mother watched you with curious eyes, and your father was talking to Hikari and Rin. You gulped at your mother's gaze. It burned, just like Katsuki's did, even hotter at times. Wyan? You gulped again. Yes? You turned in your seat, suddenly feeling very uncomfortable. She stared at you with narrowed eyes. You had no idea what she meant to do with them, but they looked ready to carve out any secret you thought you might keep hidden from her. She leaned back and waved her hand, a maniacal smile crossing her features. Nothing. Then why the hell would you scare me like that, you crazy woman? Sometimes you can be so like Katsuki. She sighed, shaking her head as if in disappointment or disapproval. He got it from you. Hush now, the festival is starting. Your father whispers, patting your mom on the back. You had the smallest inclination to glare at him, but you couldn't do that to your poor father. You sighed, closed your eyes, and focused all your attention on the sports festival. It is odd, because as soon as you had your eyes on them, the person you watched was not your brother, was not even Deku, but that dual-haired Todoroki. His eyes looked ethereal coming off of his body. It was the first thought that popped into your mind. He's beautiful.